How many of these do you write? Is he trying to write a book? Hi everyone, welcome back to another Scotty Karate video. Today we're continuing our series on Funakoshi and his 20 principles. Blah, blah, blah. You've already seen 2 of these. Well, if you haven't, check them out. Shameless plug. But today, let's worry about, let's say 11 through 15. Yeah, let's do those. The 11th principle of Funakoshi: karate is like boiling water. Without heat, it returns to its tepid state. Tepid state? What's this man talking about? Well, this sounds like something else maybe Bruce Lee said, but I digress. The reality is if you don't use it, you lose it, right? That's how I view this. Martial arts, like everything else, is a perishable skill.
You don't think I can shoot anymore?
It is a perishable skill.
It's not one of those things you train for a year, you put it in your noggin, and now you're good to go. You have to keep doing it. Your body changes. The techniques might change because we might learn more as a society. As a dojo, we might learn more. Now you're not up to speed. And more importantly, if you don't practice it, you won't apply it. Right? It's just one of those things. If you play the clarinet every single day, you're going to be good at the clarinet. See how that works? But if you don't, you won't. Shh. Number 12 is probably my favorite. And it's simply, don't think that you have to win. Rather, think that you shouldn't lose. Now, that could be a lot of different things, and it's also very confusing. Because someone's like, well, if you don't try and win, you're going to lose. Well, you also have to realize these rules weren't wrote for a tournament or for a sport. These were wrote for survival, right? Martial arts, we weren't trying to train to, spar or get points on each other. They were trained to defend themselves against attackers, people trying to hurt them, defending other people. So try not to lose. Focus on not losing. And that could be a lot of different things. So if you are squared off against someone else, don't worry about the win. Do everything in your power to make them lose. Does that make sense? So when you're defending yourself, when you're trying to use anything, try and not lose. If you do those techniques and you think about it and you start going, I have to do what I have to do to not lose. Maybe that means not die.
But did you die?
Not lose my life. My wife and kids don't get murdered. There's so many things that it can actually translate to. This is one of those that I like because it is a lot deeper than I think it was taken as. So definitely let me know what you think it is. What does it relate to you? What do you think it is? Number 13 on Funakoshi's list, make adjustments to your opponent. Now, what does that actually mean to you? Well, it could be simply, if you're talking in a tournament standpoint, if you have someone, let's say, fighting from a side angle and you can't quite get into them, you might switch stances to force them to throw something or open themselves up. You need to change for your opponent. This is actually very difficult because some people get in a mindset, such as this example, where they're a southpaw and they want to say with their right forward instead of flipping. Well, if you're great with your right arm forward, that's great. But if it can't get into your opponent to cause damage points, whatever you're doing, it's useless. You have to make the adjustments. That's what I think it is. What about you? Number 14, the outcome of a battle might depend on how you handle weakness and strength. This is another one of those that's more philosophical than, it might be just me, but it seems more philosophical than probably as wrote. Due to the time period when it was wrote, there's a lot of things it could have been, probably dealing with life and death and war. Well, how does that translate to today? Well, quite easily, actually. To me anyway. It could be simply going on a job interview, actual opponent, someone trying to hurt you, whatever it may be. You need to know yourself, your weaknesses and strengths, and know enough about someone else that you know their weaknesses and strengths too. So, let's say it's a friend who's having trouble. You know that they're weak in a certain area. Maybe their confidence is low. but you know they're really good at X thing. Well, you can determine how that relationship is, how they proceed. If they're going for, say, an interview, but they're feeling nervous, you know how to boost them up by giving them tips on their strengths and boosting that side of themselves so they can subside their weaknesses. It can be a lot of different things. This is what I think of when I hear this quote. What about you? This is one of those that I think about, but what's your version? Last one today, number 15. Fun one. Something that you can give a good visual of. You know, a T-1000 running after you with swords on his arms. Think of your arms, hands, and feet as swords. So, what does that mean?
Wouldn't be the first time I spit in Destiny's eye.
Well, I'm going to take it pretty much as face value. That's how I view it. Your hands, your elbows, your arms, your knees, your feet, they are your weapons. So just like you wouldn't mistreat, get rid of, flaunt a sword, maybe you shouldn't be flaunting and taking advantage of the fact that you have the skills to defend yourself. So 11 through 15 has some real thinkers in there, something that I like to sit down and think about and see how it applies to my daily life. Most of which I can find a pretty good reason to think that it's still valid. What about you? Do you find these still valid? Do you think that maybe they're a little outdated, maybe? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell in the corner so you know when my videos are posted each week. And as always, the more you train, easier the fight.